Wednesday, 7:02. Sorry, the app changed and couldn't figure out what was going on. So, fluffing my hair, getting ready to go. All right, so for tonight, we are playing with a bunch of textures with stencils and everything else. Hey, Lise, how are you? So, we've got a lot going on. So, let's get going, shall we? So I'm going to flip you around and get set up and we will get to going. Hold on. Alrighty, and hopefully everything lines up. Hopefully. So, let's see here. Let's get on with the show. No, I'm just teasing. Let's see. Let me refresh my page real quick. And I'll say hello. So for tonight's live, if you're watching, please comment. And I'm making sure I am broadcasting in the right spot because I don't see it right now. Hold on, that's the pin. Here we are. Okay. Sorry about that. All right, so. Hey, Lise. Hey, Iris. Hey, Barb. Hey, Cheryl. How are you? So for tonight's live, I'm doing a little bit of paper pumpkin. Want to show you what came in the kit so you are aware of what the kits look like. And I am showing you a bunch of different ways to use the stencils as well as how to make a raised edge with a die and a stylus. So for tonight, if you're watching, please comment and you'll get the instructions for the cards that are shown. Now, more like the techniques, okay? So, how are the instructions? The cards themselves are pretty basic, but all the different techniques, I've got for a softer one, use this material. For a more pronounced one, use this. So, it'll all be on there, but it's just a tiny bit different this week. So just understand that, okay? So if you order 50 or more in product with the host code, let's see here, where is it? 9ZK667HH. If you order with that by Monday, you will get the materials for the live. So you'll get a spritzer tube, you'll get a sponge, you'll get a dauber. I'm talking the materials to do it, not the consumables to make the product, but the things to actually do the application. Get some water. So shall we begin? Yeah? So let me clear off here for a sec. So in this kit came the materials to make 8 cards, as well as 4 stencils, a sponge, a little bit of ink. I'm trying to remember what else. A stamp set. All for $22 out the door. Kind of a good deal, right? So, I wanted to show you. This is one of the cards. Now, I don't follow directions. Hey, Linda, how are you? I don't follow directions. I just want to let you know that right off the top. So, this is something that can be made with the kit. Is this what was supposed to be done by the instructions? No. Okay. Now that that's over with. And then all the envelopes have liners. If you have ordered the kit, Cheryl, I know you had got it. Iris, you probably do as well. Just a note, when you're doing liners, don't try to glue all the way down in here because this goes all the way down. Just glue this top flap. So if you tuck this in, fold it over to crease it, leave this up and fold this over, put the glue on, and then fold the top flap over. That's the easiest way, and it gives you the flexibility when your envelope is opening and closing so you don't get stuck with it having to be a certain length, okay? So there's one. And then the other one that I did, now this came printed, the birds did not, and I stamped this and this. So fairly simple, fairly easy, right? But now I'm excited because I have a new stamp set to play with and I have some new stencils and different things to play with. So let's get started, shall we? So for this, what I did was I grabbed a blending brush, a sponge dauber, a sponge. Let's see what else. The embossing paste I'll do tonight. I'm trying to remember what else. Oh, and a spritzer. Okay, the spritzer is the little spray bottle. So I was testing out the mountains, and I didn't quite get them right, but it's okay. So that's one of them, and that was done with a sponge dauber. This one was done with a sponge. Okay, notice that the clouds are a little bit feathery. That's going to give you, instead of more distinct. So the sponge dauber has a finer or a more dense material to it, so you're going to get a finer image. So if you want very light, fluffy clouds, you want to use a sponge. Okay, so that's another one. And then this guy was done with, I'm trying to remember, the sponge as well, the dauber rather, and just with some crushed curry. And then here's another one. This one was done with the blending brush. Okay. And I started in the middle instead of off to the side like we normally do. I started in the middle and went out because I wanted my my focus point to be in the middle. Okay. And then last but not least, I don't know, can you see the shimmer? I'm waiting for it to catch up to me. So this is, yeah, you can. Good. So this is in a spritzer tube, rubbing alcohol, about 3/4 of the way full, and frost white shimmer paint, about, I think it was 4 or 5 drops. That's it. Shaken up really good. And look it. Isn't that gorgeous? So that's on Misty Moonlight, if you're wondering what color cardstock. Okay. So let's see. What else? And then it doesn't show up as well on here. I don't know if you can see it, but I did the stars with it as well and spritzed it. But you need a darker color. Definitely a darker color. So for tonight, I figured I would do a couple of things for you. Okay? I'm looking for all my stencils and all my, oh my goodness, I got a lot of stuff out here. So I figured the sponge you've done before, and I figured you knew what that looked like, right? So I just figured let's do the indent or the raised edge first, and then after that we can do all the other stuff. So I've got 2 pieces of basic white. These are done in the cutout with the stitch shaped dies, and I have not punched them out yet, and there's a reason. So I flipped them over upside down, and I'm grabbing my stylus and I'm just running it along the edge of where the die stops. Okay, so I'm just running it. You'll want to use the bigger end of your stylus, the bigger ball, so you don't punch through your paper, or your cardstock rather. And depending on how raised you want it will be dependent on how much you do. Okay, so look at that. Kind of cool, right? Do you see the dent or the embossed coming up? So that's one of them. And then the other one, just gonna run it along here. Super duper easy, right? Now, if you want more of an indent or whatnot, you can always spritz your card. Oops. You can always that's where Gem's gonna go. That you can always spritz your cardstock with a little bit of water beforehand, so it's a little bit more bendable if that's the case. But other than that one, not sure why that did that, but that's where Gem's going. It'll be just fine. So there's my raised edge. Okay. Yep, definitely a Gem spot. It's okay. Alrighty. That went all the way across the table and all along the floor. That's too funny. Alrighty, so I'm gonna grab this Pierce mat if you do need one. I don't know if it's in the catalog still, but they are $5. They're a great tool, not only for stylist stuff, but also for, you guessed it, actually providing some cushion when you need it. How about that, huh? So, alrighty, so I figure I've got some black and white. I've got some gray granite and black. I've got some more black and white. So I figured I'd start with the white first. I don't need that. I figured I'd start with the white first so you can see what I'm doing. And I am going to attempt. You know what though, now that I think about it, let me not start with this. Because it's with the embossing paste and I don't want to necessarily start with it because once you get going, guess what? You got to keep going with it, right? Okay, so this one I've got my black, okay, and we're just going to do a tiny bit of shimmer. So stars or clouds, which one do you guys want? Let me know real quick. And I'm just gonna spray either some stars or some clouds. I guess I could do both. But anyways, stars. Okay, done. All right, so in this tube, this spritzer tube, I have rubbing alcohol, just the household regular stuff. And then I have a couple drops of the Frost White shimmer paint, and I'm just gonna shake it up, pull off the lid, and I am gonna put this underneath here so hopefully I don't overspray and get everything everywhere. But I just want to show you the reason we do alcohol instead of water, because it dries faster. So if you're not using watercolor paper, it doesn't mess up your paper that much. So there's that one. I should have had a paper towel, but hey, okay. So I don't know if you can see it. I gotta let it dry. It's about 3 minutes or so. Oh, I'm sorry, Iris. We'll do clouds in a second, hun. So for that one, okay. And then for the second one, let's see. This is completely soaked, so we'll leave that up there. So hopefully I don't get completely messed over, but we will see, huh? And I'm just gonna spritz some clouds on here. Are we ready? So this is probably one of my favorite techniques, is just to do a little bit of spritz, spritz, spritz and be done. So there we go with that. So there's your clouds, Miss Iris. I was gonna do both. There you go. All right, so let that dry. Okay, so for the last one, I am going to be doing an ombre. Okay, I'm going to be doing an ombre stars, which means I gotta get this halfway clean. Hold on a second. If all else fails, right? Quick, quick. And I'm gonna grab a wipe. Not only for that, but for me. We're just gonna go quick, quick, quick across here. If you were doing this not on camera, I'd be rinsing this off in the sink, okay? But we're not there. So we're gonna dry, dry, dry. Because I got a bubble right there. Okay, good enough for me. All right, so we're gonna grab our white. Now, we have to make our palette, shall we say, with our embossing paste, right? So we're grabbing our Misty Moonlight, and we're grabbing our Bumblebee, and I'm grabbing my embossing paste. Now, if you don't have the tools, not a big deal, because honestly, I don't know where my tools went. So you can grab an old credit card. You can grab a piece of cardboard. Now, do the tools work better if you're doing great detail? Yes, absolutely. But for this, not a big deal, right? So when you do get your embossing paste, you want to check it when you get it. We do live in the desert, and there are times where it comes crumbly instead of wet. So you'll want to make sure and double check it to make sure you don't end up getting a rock. So I can exchange it, do whatever we need to do within 90 days, I believe it is. So I'm grabbing my Misty Moonlight, and I'm doing ombre, I said, right? Okay, so I'm gonna do one drop here. Maybe. Trying to be careful to only do one, okay? And then I'm gonna do 2 here. And I'm gonna do 3 or maybe even 4 up here. Because I want it darker, right? We're gonna do 4. And then same with the Bumblebee side. So we're gonna do 1. And then we're gonna do 2. So the more ink means it'll be darker, right? And I'm only gonna do 2 up here because I didn't do a lot on that one. So the percentage will be much, much, much greater, right? All right, so I'm gonna grab my cardstock. I'm gonna scooch this over. Yes, I know it's out of camera a little bit, but it's okay. All right, so now I am grabbing my yellow, and I'm mixing it up a little tiny bit. If your paste is too thick for you, here's what you do. You make sure and you grab a little bit of water and call it a day, right? So I am doing my ombre from left to right, just FYI for you. So I'm going to get some more on my board here. Now, yes, I used to have the tools. Honestly, I don't know where they are right now, but I have found that I like the flex of a piece of cardboard unless I'm doing a bunch, okay? If I'm doing like 50 of these, yeah, you need the tools. But if you're only doing a couple, just do it this way. Not a problem, okay? So, scrape off that excess. Sometimes you just got to do with what you can, right? Okay. Sometimes if you only have 20 bucks and you got to figure out, do I buy the tools or the paste? Yeah, I'm going to buy the paste, right? So, there's our ombre stars. Hopefully you can see that it's a little lighter here and darker over there. I hope. Okay. So if you, like I said, if you're close to a kitchen sink, oh, it's not just before I need them. They've been missing for quite some time, unfortunately. So here we are. All right, so if you are close to a kitchen sink, you would be running that underwater really quick because it gets hard. I was like, where'd my clouds go? Okay, so now I'm gonna do a couple of clouds in the sky, just a few. Okay, now remember this is still wet, right? So I'm grabbing my blue now. And I'm just skirting that across, for lack of better terms. Just a little bit. Ah, I do not like how that happened. Okay. That is okay. We will fix that somehow. I'm not sure how. I think we'll have to put another cloud up there is what we're gonna do. Because look at that. Ah! Oh well. It can't be perfect all the time, right? So now for my mountains on the very bottom here, I want you to get the idea. On the mountains on the bottom, we're going to take our blue and we're going to take our yellow and we're going to mix. And that is going to be our mountains, because then they will be like a greenish, brownish, I don't know, whatever you want to call this. But I thought it was kind of a cool color and concept. So, gotta fix that though. Not sure how. We're gonna do it though. All right, so I'm gonna grab my clouds again. And I think we're just gonna do, I don't want to mess this up more. Okay, anyways, I'm gonna leave it right now and let it dry, and then we'll fix it later. Yeah, you can color the paste after it dries. You can do the blends over it. I'm not sure if you can do the regular markers or not. I haven't tried. So it's kind of a very cool, versatile thing, but understand it's messy and you have to think different. So like with stamping, it dries, right? And so you can layer over and everything else. This, you have to wait a couple minutes for it to dry. Otherwise you get pieces and parts all over the place. So it is what it is, right? So I am gonna finish one. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come back here and I'm gonna grab my little one that is over the top, yeah? And I'm gonna grab my dark gray. And let's see, what kind of words do we need? Here's to you, happy birthday, congratulations. I always need happy birthdays. Always, always, always need happy birthdays. I don't know about you all, but, well, that's a huge block for that, but that is okay. All right, I'm using basic gray here. I'm just stamping it here. Okay, so that's my happy birthday. And then I am grabbing some trees. And we are going to get this thing all said and done, right? So I'm going to grab my trees and I'm going to grab my gray granite that'll match my masking. I'm going to stamp off first. For one, when you have a brand new stamp, you want to make sure it inks correctly. Sometimes the process of creating them, sometimes there's a little bit of residue left. So if that happens to you, you want to clean it really good. And then also you want to, if it's still not gone, grab just a regular like art eraser and go over the top of it and get that residue off. It's just that simple. But you do want to check them if they're new, and I couldn't remember if I had stamped with it or not. So you want to check them to make sure that you've got what you need, okay? So we're going to grab a thick basic white cardstock base. This is cut at 5.5 by 8.5 and scored in the middle at 4.25. And then what we've got is our two mats here. I'm using my Stampin' Seal Plus. Tend to go through less of it, so that is what I am going through. So if you have not been checking your email today, you will want to go do that quickly. The retiring list came out today at noon, so I emailed that link to you so you can stay current on with what's still happening, what's still available. So you will need to stay on top of that if you want anything. If you need anything that you haven't already got, that some of the things go quick. Usually the inks go really, really quick. The in colors are the only inks that are going out. The Rococo Rose, Pretty Peacock, that set. But I will tell you, there are some blends that are going out as well. So you'll want to make sure. One note for you, tear and tape is not going out. It is simply getting reconfigured, which means it's probably getting a new key code. So do not fret about tear and tape leaving. It is not, okay? Not. I've already double checked, triple checked. So that is the card for tonight. Just wanted to show you some of the effects with the stencils, because I know some of you are getting paper pumpkin. So I wanted you to know what to do with the stencils you got, right? So without anything else, I will tell you, follow me, stampingwithjohnny.com. Thank you so much for joining me, and have a great evening. Bye-bye.